The first 100K month we had, I believe it, and we had guys like come in or come out during that, but like I'd say the average was like me and 3 sales guys, and then realistically probably like an average of 1 technician per sales guy.
Welcome to the Home Service Chad Podcast, the show for home service entrepreneurs who don't just want to make money, but who also want to build elite lives and create impact. Each week, Louis sits down with high performers in home services to uncover the secrets to their success. No fluff, no shortcuts, just real conversations with those doing the work. Now, here's your host, Louis Moucher.
All right, guys, welcome to the podcast. Today I've got a very special guest for you guys. He's a young entrepreneur, young home service guy. This guy's sold over $1 million of window washing at the door. He's got a very, very strong personal brand. He's the owner of Summit Window Cleaning, and he's only 21 years old. Today, guys, I've got Nick Gaines. Nick, bro, thanks for pulling up.
Absolutely, bro.
Let's get right into it, bro. We've only got like an hour here. I know you're a busy guy. So, for anyone who doesn't know you, because I bet most people on here are like, you know, going to be the young kind of home service guys who are just trying to come up. So most people know you, but for anyone who doesn't know you, can you just give everybody like a rundown? You know, who's Nick Gaines? How did you get going in the business? Just kind of your upbringing.
Yeah, you want me to like go into the backstory?
Go into the backstory, bro.
Yeah, so as you said, my name is Nick Gaines. Pretty much I started out in the kind of home service industry back in 2022. After I had graduated high school, I started like a little car detailing business just because I knew I had been on like the entrepreneurial side of TikTok for a while. Started to get into some crypto, but had like no money to really put into it. And I was like, if I'm gonna do this crypto stuff, I need to make more money, and the pizza job's not gonna cut it. So ended up starting the detailing business. Probably made around like 5 or 6K that summer doing it for a couple months, and then I broke my collarbone, and so I literally couldn't keep doing it. And so turned to some other like online stuff. I ended up looking at remote sales, joined a program for that literally I spent all of my detailing money on joining the program to do remote sales.
What was the program?
It was Simply Close. If the 2 owners were Kenton Martin, who he does a lot of text posts, you might have seen him here and there, and then this dude named Zach. My buddy Kyle had done one of his like TikTok programs in the past, so joined that. It was like $6,300, and I literally had to do a payment plan because it was all the money I had. And then I was debating for the longest whether I would go to college or not. I knew it probably didn't make that much sense for me.
So this was like 2022?
Yep.
Or like fall?
Yep. And then I had just been debating with friends who went, friends who didn't go, my parents. My mom definitely wanted me to go. She's a school teacher, so she definitely felt a certain type of way about me going. My dad was a bit more open. He definitely gave me some pushback, but I ultimately just decided, hey, I'm gonna go just to at least see what this is like and have an understanding of like, you know, worst case scenario, I get there and then I just know for sure. And so I did go for 2.5 weeks, and then I dropped out.
2.5 weeks.
Yeah, 2.5 weeks.
That's crazy.
And then dropped classes. And the plan was to just do the remote sales stuff. I hadn't even like gotten hired for a role yet. I had like graduated, but I was in the interview processes. And then basically one day after dropping out, I was just back in my hometown, went to lunch with some buddies, and we were just talking about how like we had seen the Josh and Oliver, you know, TikToks going around like making $1,000 a day. And we were like, our friend, like we were both kind of doing stuff. Like I was about to do remote sales. My buddy was doing some stuff on TikTok, and we were more so telling him he should try it rather than like us all start it. And I was like, yeah, like I'm doing like remote sales. It's not the same thing, but I'll help out. And then we just all went out in my neighborhood one day, sold $700 in like an hour. We had no business selling that much. It was pure just coincidence and people who probably felt bad. But yeah, we sold the jobs, and then we were like, we're going to do this. And so it kind of went from there. That's how it all kind of started. I kind of dropped the remote sales stuff, even though I spent $6,300 to learn it. Ended up joining Josh and Oliver's program around that same time, as soon as we could afford to join it. And then in our first, it was about a week and a half before, like when we knocked my neighborhood to when we joined. After joining, our first full month, we did a little over 30K. And then our second month, we did 55. And then we kept kind of growing and scaling from there. Ended up moving out of our hometown to kind of the biggest city nearby, which was Charlotte. And then kind of rebuilt there. And
how big was your hometown?
Not tiny. I'd say like the whole metro, probably like, I want to say 750K, like the whole metro area.
Did you mostly move because of the size or like the market? Like the people?
The market we were in was good because it was very untapped. Like it's on the beach and it's small, so people just didn't really knock it. Like people would maybe get like a pest guy per year. It just wasn't super big, and we wanted to build a sales team. And we knew like, okay, if we're going to have a team the size that we want, like we're not going to have enough area here to, or like we could have realistically. We just knew that we definitely, having the option, would have a much better chance at succeeding with more area.
Okay. So dude, like I know we kind of talked about this a while ago just on DMs there, but like you've obviously got the personal brand right now. You're still kind of hybrid with the business. Is that right?
Yeah. So at this point, I now, like up until this summer,
you've probably got a really big client list.
Yeah.
I bet. What is it like? Many
I don't
thousands?
even know, because my home base is combined with the Myrtle customers. Like we just uploaded all of our people, so it's like Myrtle and Charlotte combined.
Okay.
But yeah, probably like 6K, 5 or 6K.
Yeah, that's really valuable, bro. But dude, what was like peak Summit sales? Like what did that look like?
It was really interesting. Like the revenue never did anything crazy for Summit, just because like there was always like kind of a transition period. So the way it looked we were in Myrtle from October 2022 through February of 23. And then it was me and my partners in Charlotte that first summer. And then month one partner left. At the end of the summer, another partner left. And so that first year we were kind of like floating around 50 per month that whole summer. And then I actually went back to Myrtle Beach when our lease ended, because I was like, okay, my partner's left. Guys are going back to college. Like, I'm gonna go back to Myrtle. I can knock hybrid. I might even try some lights, but I'll go back to Myrtle and kind of figure it out. And so that's what I did. Kind of just knocked a few days a week windows with the guys that were, still, able to knock in the hometown. Did some LED lighting projects. That was an interesting experience.
Really? So back in 2023.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Did 3 installs. That was a bit crazy, but it was a fun experience.
Was it just the fulfillment part that was kind of crazy?
Yeah, like I sold, like it wasn't super difficult to sell. Like I was just selling them from the client list. I think one was just a call, like me to the client list. One was off the back of a window job. We were just like, hey, we do LEDs too. We can come do a measurement. And then one was a referral of the first one. And then at that time, it was already late November, and like I didn't want to sell more than I could manage, and so I just stopped selling them. But like there were delays on the shipment of the lights, and then they got stuck in customs, and so I had customers calling me like demanding refunds. They were like what's going on? I showed up to one of the houses, and the husband of like the wife I sold was like, you fucking suck, you know that?
Really?
I'm sorry, sir. It's not my fault, I promise.
So what, you refunded them?
No, I mean, so it was actually really interesting. I had this dude named Tyler who was up in Canada. who had been doing some of the LED lighting stuff. He worked with Oliver and Josh for a bit.
Okay.
But he gave me a really good perspective on it, and it was just that, like, if you refund them right now, there's a 0% chance of a happy customer. They're pissed off, they get their money back, and they still hate you. But if you say, hey, look, we've already ordered the materials, I'm sorry that the stuff is delayed, but like, that's out of our hands, you signed the agreement, and like, by the letter of the law, you can't cancel after 3 days, is the buyer's right to cancel. And so he was like, if you refund them, they're not gonna be a happy customer. But like, they're not happy right now, but if you see it through and you get the lights on the house, they're going to be happier than if you just like refund them right now with the situation as is. And so honestly, I just told them that, and I was just like, hey, we've already ordered the materials. We can't do a refund at this point in time. I did, however, take a bit off. I gave them like a $150 Visa gift card to like, for them to go out to a nice steak dinner. And then we got the lights in the house. They looked freaking awesome. She gave me a hug. She actually cried and like gave me a hug. It was it was an interesting experience, to say the least. But yeah.
Did you sub out the actual install, or like, how does that work? You're like window techs to...
Didn't use the window guys. I basically just found like local construction guys, because they're just less busy in the winters anyways. And so I would just go on Google Maps and basically just call through subcontractors and be like, hey, this is what we're doing. This is what we're paying. Would you be like interested, or are your guys looking for some extra work? And then got in contact with a couple dudes who did like siding, gutters, soffit. And then just kind of, I would say technically subbed it to them, but like I was with them on the jobs, like showing them how, because they had never done it before.
Right. But they were, like, what is it in the U.S.? W-2 and 1099? Are your guys like 1099s too?
For Windows? Yep.
That's good, bro. That's less hassle, right?
Yeah, it's just like, just due to the nature of it, especially with like, we were doing it at such a high scale, it's just, it's really, really overcomplicates things if you're doing the W-2 route. And it's also like, a lot of the guys prefer it that way anyways.
Yeah, they probably pay less taxes too.
Yep.
Dude, a couple questions on lights, because we're looking at, like, dude, up where I live, the market's super small, but lights have still, like, there's one or two guys who, like, electrical guys who kind of do it, but it hasn't, like, blown up. You know, like, you go to spots like Calgary where Josh and Oliver live, and it's like every fifth house, you know, has permanent lights. So we're looking to kind of get into it once we get this season kind of more steady, you know. But dude, I wanted to ask you about, like, when you sub the lights out, like, what are kind of like the gross margins on the labor? You know, like, if you sell a light for $40 a foot, like, are you paying the guys by the foot, or what does that kind of look like?
So the way I was kind of told you want to do it is like, start by the foot just to get guys on board. But like, once you have consistent jobs coming in, like if you just have, hey, we've got 3 or 5 jobs this month, you want to pay by the foot, just because it's like, you're not in a position to pay them a like day rate or a salary where it makes sense for them and it doesn't make sense for you. And so I do by the foot until you have like consistent jobs to where they like have work almost every day. And then I would just do like either salary or day rate at that point.
Okay. And when you were paying them, what was it like? Like,
I think I did $3 a foot US. Okay. So Canadian.
What were you selling them at?
My cheapest was, I want to say, 2,600 or 20, like 23, 24, 2,600. I can't remember which one. And then the highest was 38.
Okay. Yeah, bro, that's kind of also why we want to get into it, is just the big ticket, you know? Like windows, I don't know, what's your average ticket windows? Like 300, 250?
Yeah, I'd say like 330, I think 340, something like that.
Yeah.
The price, I think it depends on the market. I'd say like Charlotte's a really good market. Like there were probably months where we had 400 plus average. But like, I'd say overall, probably like 330 to 350.
Okay, word. Yeah, bro, let's get back into some window stuff here, bro. So you, I don't know, like this is stuff I've never actually ran like a door-to-door team. You know, first off, like the market's tiny here. Like right now I've got one sales guy. He's doing our inbound sales. He's doing some outbound door-to-door stuff. He's, you know, kind of doing all of it. But we want to get into bigger markets. And I know that like when we open new markets up, it's going to be like I'm going to want to build door-to-door sales teams to just try and take a bunch of market share. Obviously, when you're paying out, I don't know what your commissions are, but like over 25% or whatever it is, that eats at the bottom line. But I think when you're opening up, like if you're just trying to grow really fast, that's a good option, especially if you don't have money just to kind of plow into marketing. But what's it like how big, what was the peak of your like sales team? Like how many guys? Because I've seen the clips, bro. Like I've seen the clips at fast food, you know.
Yeah, we've I would say like this past season I kind of segued into lights, but I'd say just to kind of finish out what kind of my journeys looked like, I'd say summer 1 the average was like 50-55, and then going back into summer 2 just by myself with no partners this past summer, the average was just low 6 figures throughout. I think our like first,
Nice.
And then our like first month was probably like 85, kind of ramping up, and then the remaining like 3-4 months was just right around the 105 kind of to 130, I think was the top.
Okay. So what did you guys do in 2024?
I actually don't know. That's a good question.
Like 4, 5?
Summer was like, yeah, probably right around, I want to say mid 4s or 5. And then obviously we did some, I was knocking in Myrtle leading up to that. And then towards the later half of 2024 was more so focusing on the partnership. I'm sure you've seen Gabe with the Yes Champ.
Yeah, dude. I actually wanted to talk to you about that.
Yeah.
So what are you doing there? Like, are you kind of an advisor? Or?
That would be a good way to put it. Is like at this point, that's what I'd say I am. I do have an involvement in like kind of training his reps up, and like helped him kind of build it from the ground in person. And I've actually done a similar thing with my old manager that worked for me. Helped him start his own location. I'm kind of a partner with him too. And so I'd say now that's kind of my role, is like more so, like you said, hybrid on my main location. And then the 2 kind of partnerships, those have been the focus from like after the summer.
Okay. And so those are all Summit or?
They're not. So it's like, you could call it a franchise, I guess. It's like not really, but it's separate like names and entities. So Gabe is Sunflower Property Care, and then my manager, his name's actually Gabe too. Other Gabe is like Apex Property Masters. So like separate entities, but yeah, kind of just helping them through the scaling process, like on the business side of things, because Gabe over here had sales experience like with solar and building teams and recruiting, but zero with window cleaning sales or anything home service. Then my Gabe knew window cleaning sales, but didn't know recruiting, hiring, any of the business side of things.
Yeah.
And so just kind of helping.
Dude, they should just team up, bro.
Team up.
Yeah. Get both Gabes together. But yeah, I don't know. One thing, like, dude, I see Gabe's videos and like, bro, the culture they have there is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
At Yes Gen. Dude, I've seen a video of you, like you were ripping $100K a month with like 3 techs. I saw a video. You're like you run really lean. I wanted to ask you about that. Like, how do you do that, bro?
Yeah. So the first 100K month we had, I believe it, and we had guys like come in or come out during that, but like I'd say the average was like me and 3 sales guys, and then realistically probably like an average of 1 technician per sales guy.
Okay.
And with the systems in place of like, if you're doing, the biggest thing is just doing on the spot. Like if you're not doing on the spot window cleaning, like it might be a little bit smoother, so to speak, at like, oh, I have my technician, he drives the truck, he goes from job to job, I'm not super involved, he takes care of everything. But it's like if it's driving and it's next day, like at least with door to door, there's going to be cancellations, typically 10 to 20%. And then obviously there's drive time. And so the biggest thing is just like, if you're doing on the spot, technician paired with salesman,
Yeah.
you're going to be able to, per tank, as long as the sales guy can sell it, per tank / worker, like 1,500 is like very standard. Now, like I've had like a worker with one tank, one brush, one worker clean over 2,500 in a day, but that was like peak record.
Bro.
It was like crazy pricing, and it was like our fastest
Yeah.
worker. So that's not normal, but I'd say like 1,500 standard, 2K's like a good day with good pricing, good cleaning.
With one guy.
With one guy.
That's crazy, bro. Yeah,
it's-
dude,
yeah.
I think it's all in like having all the jobs right together, bro.
Yeah.
That you just densify everything.
And I have a lot of guys ask me too. They're like, well, what if the jobs are far? What if the jobs are far away?
Are they walking? Mm-hmm. Okay. Dude, that's fire.
And so the thing
Cut
I
down on
always
vehicle
say,
expenses.
yeah, and so the thing I always say is like, the question you should be asking is, how do I sell jobs to where they aren't far away? How do I sell jobs to where they are close together? And then, yeah, just staying on one route.
Okay. Word. And so, dude, sales guys, bro, obviously it's all commission. Are your techs fully commissioned too, or are they
They're flat.
just hourly or day?
Dead.
Okay. Do you give them bonuses or? Nice. I want to ask more about like the sales guys commission, because like you look at big sales companies or like solar or whatever, it's like you sell more and you make more money, but like you make a higher percentage and stuff like that. Did you have that, or were you just like flat?
I do have a sliding scale. And
Oh yeah, that's what it is.
The structure I use is a bit, it's not like a just flat either. Like it's a bit more technically complex. But at like, if you're gonna do it the way I do it, at least it makes the most sense. I think if like, especially if you're doing, like sales and fulfillment are totally separate, right? Like guys are, you have trucks driving out. I think just like a flat, it's the simplest. But with on the spot like I do, I think having a sliding makes the most sense.
Okay. What's the scale? Are you allowed to share that?
That's one thing I'll gatekeep a little bit.
Okay.
But I'd say, yeah, I do like having the sliding, just because like you said, it does incentivize and push guys to keep going. It's like they
You
make more
notice 80-20? Like your top guys sell like 80% of the revenue?
Not 80-20, like kind of, but I wouldn't call it 80-20.
Yeah.
Like there's gonna be, because like for me, the standard is just what it is. I think that's such a big thing to having a good like sales team and a good culture, is like the standard being so like, if you're just bringing guys in and you're teaching them, but you're not leading from the front, the standard like is, it's just, the standard's basically like whatever the top guy does. But like for me, I've always led from the front, and like I'm always on route. Like I'm either managing and still throwing down like 2K, like while the guys are on route, like driving the van, or like I've got my manager and I'm in the front seat, like I'm on route all day too. And so it's like when I'm out there doing
On route, like washing or selling?
like I'm selling.
Okay.
And so like if I'm out there doing 3K a day in front of their faces, it's like this, like I'm quite literally setting the standard on a daily basis. And so like when guys are doing less than that, it's like the gap is created. And so like, you know what I mean? As opposed to if you're not leading from the front, the proof of concept just isn't there. Like, and guys almost don't even.
Unless you have like a really top guy. right?
Yeah, and it's like, and even when you do, I just think it's so important to lead from the front because like the dynamic with your guys is so much better. Like I remember I had a sales rep who like he flew in from Michigan and his dad was calling him like, how's it going? Blah, blah, blah. It's good. What's Nick doing? Is he just like sitting with his feet up all day? Like, what's Nick doing? He's like, no, like this dude is like lapping us every day. Like he works harder than all of us. And it's like, it's really good from a standard perspective of like every day they see what's possible. And like, because I'm out there showing them an example of what's real and what's achievable, like they want to achieve it, but they also like, it's not this like boss employee dynamic where I'm like, go sell, go knock doors. And I'm just like in an office all day. It's like, I'm out there doing it too. Like I'm living what I'm preaching. And I think that's so important.
Yeah. How did you manage that with like, because I don't know, at the end of the day, you're also, you got to kind of oversee, I mean, you had an operations manager kind of overseeing the jobs.
Yep.
But you had to also like, I know like you were doing all the CEO stuff too, right? But you were also selling. So how do you kind of balance that?
When you say CEO stuff, like what stuff kind of particular?
Like, I don't know, bro, like doing like kind of admin stuff, you know, were you invoicing, were you know, kind of coordinating stuff with your guys, you know, putting out fires? I guess that's not really CEO stuff, that's more manager stuff, but like, you know, just kind of business owner stuff when you're kind of at, you know, that stage, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's really important to...
Or did you have people?
Yeah, like a lot of those things, like collecting payment, any of the administrative type stuff for the most part, because it was all same day, number one, eliminated a lot of it. But number two, like having systems in place to where that's really not even my job. It's like the line of command is like techs, sales guys, manager, I guess me. And so like the technicians are taking care of like the majority of it. And then if there's any problems from there, it's like maybe there was a communication error, like was this included in the job? Are we doing the screens? Who's putting them back in? If there was a miscommunication, they could take it up with the sales guy, like, hey, what did we say we're doing here?
Right.
And then if there was something past that where the salesman's like, hey, customers, you know, confused, customers unhappy, or customer is happy and wants, you know, to get on a subscription, whatever it may be, then that's more like a manager thing. And so like,
were you guys doing service plans?
not for the most part, like,
Dude, that's
now,
something we want to get into, bro.
yeah,
Like you're selling Windows, it's so low ticket, but if you can get it on a subscription, bro, I think that's the way to play it.
yeah, no, I agree. And I think, like now we are focusing on that more, and like there's a lot more proof of concept. Like I've done it with my customer base. Like season one, we called the customer base, and like I ended up hiring actually my mom and my sister to like dial the list.
Really?
Yeah. And then when I was in Charlotte too, I actually like
going into season 2?
Say it again.
Going into season 2, like rebooking?
Yeah. So like I rebooking for season 2, and then also when we went to Charlotte, I had them dialing the Myrtle list, and I had a guy cleaning the Myrtle jobs from that. So that was cool to experience too.
Yeah.
But what were we on? Subscriptions.
Yeah.
This year I did practice, like rather than just saying, hey, do you want to get back on the schedule? Transitioning that into, hey, do you want to get on a plan with everyone else? It could save you a bit of money on your service. And like a lot of like, it just worked. And I was like, okay, there's proof of concept here. But I also think you can implement that on the doors, either incorporating it into your pitch and just selling it hard on the front end.
I think what pest guys do, right?
Yeah. And I think me personally, with the goals that I would have, I probably wouldn't do that. I think you would lose a lot of one-times. And I think I would rather my top of funnel be wider and just do a bunch of one-times and then convert those one-times into subscriptions than I would to like have less customers doing subscriptions. That's just me. I know people who do want just subscriptions.
I know a few people, dude, they sell it as a one-time and then like they get them on a subscription after. And they're like, hey, you know, like we can, if you're interested, we do a lot of the homes on the street. every 3 months or whatever it is. And then you tell them like, hey, we'll knock $50 off each visit. And then they save right there. But I don't know how the best way would be to sell it.
Yeah, I think it purely just depends on like what your goal is. Like, I think if you're trying to make a bunch of money with this, I think it probably doesn't make a ton of sense to sell it door to door. Like if cash flow is your goal, but I know guys to where like their goal is genuinely, they don't really care about the cash flow. They just want to be able to exit in 3 to 5 years and like sell the business for $2 to $5 million. And so it's like, if that's your real goal in your heart of hearts, then it's probably want to lean more towards that. For me, I would rather have like, I just think the benefit of window cleaning is that it's so profitable. And so I wouldn't want to sacrifice that for like doubling down on these subscriptions. I definitely want to focus on it, but I would rather have the cash flow be there and then just convert as much of that we're doing initially, like you said, into a subscription. But I think there's different ways.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, you know the mint cleaning guys?
Yep.
Yeah. Do you see them on YouTube?
Yeah, my I know one of my buddies, Chris, that was also in Josh and Oliver's program. He actually kind of flew out and worked with them for a while. And, he helped start their like a new location for them. Like he talked to them, was like, hey, you guys really aren't doing much with door to door. I want to learn the like, service subscription side of things. You guys want door to door. And he basically like helped them start their sales teams from the ground up, hired his own reps, like hired a bunch of the guys from the program, and just like kind of learned that process. And now that's what he does. He sells with price sheets door to door, purely contracts, which is like, that's kind of the example I was saying of like, that's another way to do it too, which I think is awesome. I just, I wouldn't want to miss out on the one time on the spot front end cash flow, but I think it's really cool.
Dude, what were your margins like when you're paying out? Your overhead was probably pretty low since you didn't have many vehicles.
Yeah,
but you're paying out sales guys, a manager, and the cleaners.
Yep. I'd say like overall net margins, if I wasn't selling, I'll start there first.
Yeah, right.
I was selling, but I'll start like if I was doing nothing. Like I have sales guys, technicians, and a manager. Probably 45%-ish net margins. Like that's including the rep house stuff with the vehicle. Because like during the summers, like we had a rep house where we bring all the guys in.
Yeah.
And so I
fed them too.
No, didn't feed them, but just like housed in transportation. I'd say 40 to 50, so I'd say just 45 net. But like realistically, with me selling, or there were parts of the summer where I managed a bit, and so like me doing either one of those roles, I'd say takes it from that to like realistically anywhere from 55 to 70. Like if
huge, bro.
Yeah, like if I'm selling
services.
Yeah, it's like if I'm selling, the margins on my jobs are going to be 90.
Really? So like 10% labor?
Ish. Like if the pricing's good and like depending on my sales, obviously. Well, I'd say 90 before like factoring in the rep house. So like maybe like 87 or so. But like 85 to 90 on mine, and then the sales guys anywhere from 50 to 60.
Okay. Word. Dude, that's huge, bro. All right, bro. We've got like 20-ish minutes here. I want to talk about some other stuff than like just windows and stuff.
Yep.
I saw your morning routine, bro. I saw you cold plunging, all that stuff. Are you like you? I see you working out and stuff. Like, you're obviously into this whole like health thing, and what is that? Like, what's the importance of that? What's your whole take on it? We always like that, Like, that's a big thing with me too. Is like, yeah, there's business, but at the end of the day, I think health is huge too, and just being well balanced overall.
Yeah, I'd say I think I was actually most into it when I first started. or maybe not most, but like I would say when I first started, I was very, very, very into it. And I think as the business progressed, like that took more and more of a hit. Like when we were doing the rep houses, it's like we're working 5-6 days a week, like 10-hour days, 12-hour days sometimes. It's like that definitely took a hit for a period of time. And like I think
you gotta have that imbalance, bro.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
you have that like temporary imbalance.
Yeah. And I'd say like right now is a season where I'm definitely like super, super into it, like super, super prioritizing health again. But yeah, I think there's seasons, and I don't think it's a problem to be solved. I think it's like just something to be managed as like time goes on. And I think, you know, one season you might have a lot going on in the business and to where that needs more of your attention. And then you put yourself in a position to where, okay, now I don't need to be in the field 12 hours a day. I can have a little bit more time to focus on like nutrition and the gym. And so, yeah, I'd say right now I'm definitely in one of those seasons. Yeah, I would say definitely important. I wouldn't say I'm like crazy about it all the time, but like I don't really eat fast food or, you know, I try to stay very health conscious, like, you know, grass-fed meats. Like food is a big thing for me. Like at this point in life, it's like I didn't work as hard as I did to make the amount of money I did to like not eat quality. Like that's the first place money's going to go for me always. And so I'm very conscious of that. And then just like going to the gym is super huge. I just feel so much better when I do. Like when I don't, I genuinely feel like a shell of myself. Like if I'm out of the gym for a week or two, I just feel bad. And so I'd say, especially right now, I think that's a super huge focus for me.
Yeah, 100%. Do you notice it? Like, I don't know, obviously none of that stuff actually moves the needle, but I do find, like you were saying, that when you eat well, when you work out, when you sleep 7 hours, which isn't very hard to do, you can, when you're actually working, you can actually focus. You know what I mean? And you can kind of I find it easier to get into that whole like flow state thing, where you just like not thinking about anything else and you can just focus on one thing. Do you notice that kind of a difference there or not really?
100%. I'd say two things. I'd say because they're things I do care about, even if I have like business as a priority, they're in the back of my mind always. So like if I'm like knocking or if I'm like doing work, in the back of my mind it's like, you still got to go to the gym later. You still got to go to the gym later. I'm always thinking about it, even though I'm not doing it. And so when I just do it, like there's nothing else to really think about. And I think also like I've had seasons where, like you said, it doesn't move the needle. And like, I definitely agree with like Hormozy, like you don't need this crazy, like 10-step morning routine to make money. But at the same time, like I've had seasons where the only focus was making money. Like it was wake up, like straight to route, get home, slam Chipotle in my face, go to bed, repeat. And it's like, yeah, that's good for a season, but it's also like, it's not sustainable. Like you can't just ignore the things you like care about in life and just say, oh, well, like it doesn't move the needle. But it's like, well, if you enjoy it and it brings you fulfillment and like you enjoy your life better when you do, like don't ignore it. Cause it's like the whole point of making money is, I think it could be summed up to creating a better life for yourself in the future. And so it's like, if you're sacrificing 100% about like your life now to make more money, it's like, well, at what point are you actually going to start enjoying your life? Like doing the things you're doing. And so I think they are important. I think seasons are okay. I think it's okay to have seasons of grind and focus. Yeah. But I think
it's kind of like winter, summer for most like salespeople.
Yeah. And I think big picture, it's like you can't just not do the things you love. Like, because if you don't for long enough, you'll start to hate work. And that's what I've learned is like, I genuinely like working. Like I have friends who would prefer to do the bare minimum. Like I enjoy working, I really do. But like if I only work, I start to hate it because I'm like, yo, like I'm sacrificing everything else I care about. And then I start doing the things like going to the gym, you know, like taking care of myself, just focusing on anything outside of just work. And then I want to work more because I'm not sacrificing those things anymore.
Right.
So yeah, I think it's a balance, but I think they're super important for me especially.
Yeah. Dude, I think about it a lot in home service because, like, I know you make a lot of money in home service. Like, dude, I haven't made a ton of money in home service, you know? Like, this is going to be our second season. We had a decent season last year. But, like, dude, I'm learning so much, bro. And, like, you know when you kind of get over a mountain or you hit whatever and you just see, like, more stuff? You know, for me right now, it's, like, trying to find good people. And, you know, how do I lead people and, you know, actually kind of bring people on the vision of the company, because I want to really grow this thing. Dude, I lost my train of thought.
No, you're good. You're just talking about kind of seeing the horizon.
Oh, yeah. Oh. Dude, all right, I completely forget what I was going to ask you. All right, I'll think about it. I'll remember. But that's funny, bro. Couple other things, bro. You obviously have your coaching program, which, you know, I know a lot of people hate on, like, coaching programs and stuff. I think they're great, bro. Like, I've paid for many mentorships, many courses, and, like, dude, even ones that haven't served me in some way that made me, like, I got one takeaway from this one course or whatever it was, and dude, I get like a 10x return when you look at the actual lifespan of it and what I'm going to learn from that. So, like, yeah, a lot of people be hating on courses. Dude, big respect. You know, you're spending your time helping people, and especially with, like, I don't know, like, this business, dude, anyone can make it, bro. Like, you know that, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I kind of wanted to ask you about mentorships. You know, you've obviously been in Josh and Oliver's program. Have you had, like, other mentors that have, you know, helped you in your business journey, just in life in general? Then the other thing with that is, like, are you big on, like, paying for access, or do you try and, like, find people kind of, like, organically? Like, let's kind of jump into that.
Yeah, no, I actually really like this topic because, like, I think, like you said, there's a lot of people who maybe they've never paid for mentorship, or they've never been in a position to pay for mentorship. And from, like, an outside perspective, it's like, I could see how it's easy to be like, oh, put the course in the bag, like, whatever, like, all this, like, whatever. But it's like, I like, in the position I am, I'm not better than anyone else, like, that wants to start a home service business. I just had a lot of help throughout the entire journey. And I've spent, like, well over, I don't know how much, but definitely over 50K on, like, courses for sure, like, in mentorships. And it's just, like, they've changed my life. And it's like you said, I'm also in one right now. And there was a guest speaker on one of the calls, and he was saying how, like you said, even if the course itself you didn't take a lot from, he was actually saying, even if you bought a course and there was nothing in it, like, you spent $5,000 and you open it up and it's a Google Doc that said, yo, just work harder, bro. Like, if that was the course, you still are better off because of the, like, fear you overcame of taking that step and investing in yourself. Because when you do that, like, you make a physical commitment to you actually committing to this. And it's, dude, like,
it's really about the investment, bro.
Yeah.
It's about how much you're paying, you know?
Yeah. And that's a big part of it. Also,
and that's going to dictate the value you place on it and the inputs you're going to, you know, what you're going to do with it.
Yeah. Like, it's like, even my program now, like, not to, you know, hype it up or anything, but, like,
bro, you can hype it up all you want, bro.
Like, they're, like, the guys that have done the, like, there are guys in there like Matt and Josiah, the two that I just did an interview with them. That's going up, like, this week, but they did 40K their first month in the program in high school. Like, they're partners, and it's like, the only reason that they're capable of that is because they knew exactly what to do, how to do it, and they took the info seriously. But it's like, the program itself is really, really good, and I will brag on it, but, like, the reality is that they just like, they took massive action on what was in there. Right. And it's like, if it was free, you know, I don't think even they would have gotten the same results. Maybe they would, you know, but like, and so there's two parts. Like, the information has to be quality, the coaching has to be quality, the person leading it has to know what they're talking about. But like, you investing in yourself to get access to that, like, you just make a commitment to yourself, and like, you're going to take more aggressive action if you've made that commitment. And the guys who have done the best are the guys that just take repetitive action and they rinse the program for what it is. Like, my favorite guys in there are the ones that literally like abuse me with questions all day. Like, yeah, because they're the ones that succeed. They're like, hey, I paid for this. I'm going to rinse it for everything it's worth, and like take it upon myself to make sure that I get my return on investment. But yeah, like I forgot, I know you asked a couple questions there. What was the...
Yeah, I mean, dude, just kind of like the whole mentorship topic. Oh yeah, like, because you've obviously paid for access. You know, you paid for Josh and Oliver's program. Yeah. Like, I believe in like paying for access because you can pick who you want to learn from, right? But like, have you had like mentors, just people you meet and stuff? Like, I've had a guy, we do a good amount of like big commercial stuff, who really helped us like locally, you know, just figure out how to do these things.
Yeah, like, I'd say I definitely am a believer that like, you can learn from anyone. Like, I think there's something to be learned from everyone. And like, you will meet people where there's like just mutual alignment. Like, you know, if we talk back and forth enough, like, I'd learn stuff from you, you'd learn stuff from me. But like, I'm just a believer that if someone has, like, if you want to learn from somebody, pay them. Like no questions asked, pay them. Because it's like, I think even in life, like, mentorships aside, free stuff is never like as good. Like, I have a friend whose dad is an accountant, and it's like, anytime like there's been some sort of like, oh, like, we're family, we're friends, like, don't worry about it. It's like, it gets placed on the back burner and it's not going to be a priority because I'm not paying for it, which is fair.
Like, he was advising you?
No, he's like a lawyer and a CPA, and like, okay. Like, for example, like, there's been points in time where it's like, hey, we need XYZ document, or like our LLC, like whatever, we need our articles amended. And like, if it was ever free, and I'm not saying this like about him specifically, I'm just saying in general, like, when there's something that's free, it's never taken as seriously. And it's like, on the receiving end of that, that's not what you want. And on his end of that, it's like, he doesn't want to do free work. And so if you actually want or value like somebody's mentorship, pay them for it. Like, you'll never get the same quality or effort from the person you're trying to learn from if it's free. And that's just the truth of the matter. And so like, if you like see that as valuable, pay for it. Because like, you know, like, if somebody asks me for advice, like, I just have so much going on that like, I will answer questions. Like, I'm happy to help, but like
DMs.
Yeah,
you probably get blown up with DMs.
Yeah, and it's like,
you get like, what squeegee do you use?
Yeah, and it's like, I was actually thinking about this earlier today. Like, the worst thing is when someone says, do you have any advice? And let me tell you why that's a terrible question to ask, is because I have a lot of advice, but the advice I would give is completely circumstantial. Like the advice I would give to one guy might be like the worst thing this guy could hear. And it's like, if I don't know your situation, how can I know what advice to give you? And so like, there's different personalities, there's different like situations. And so I'd say number one, if that's you, like, at least ask good questions. But yeah, I'd say like with as much as I have going on, it's like, I can't give the same level of effort to someone who's just like asking for free help, as opposed to the guys in my program who, like, if they ask me a question, I'm going above and beyond to make sure they get exactly what they need to be able to crush. And it's like, you know, when I have those guys over here, I just can't give that same level of attention to everybody. And that's why it's not free. And so like, if you value it, I think pay for it. And I think I'm in the same way. If there's something I want, I'm going to pay for it. I don't care if you would do it for free. Like if I have a buddy who's an editor, I'm not taking free edits because he's not going to take them seriously. I'm not going to take a free LLC mate because it's going to take 3 weeks and I need it soon. And so like if it's valuable, pay for it.
Yeah. Dude, we've got a couple minutes here, bro. This is kind of off topic, but you obviously film a bunch of door-to-door clips. Do you have a guy, like, how do you film those, bro? Because, like, I filmed some too, and I've kind of got, like, my buddy there, you know, kind of, you know, being sneaky, whatever. We usually ask, like, hey, you know, I don't know if you noticed, but we were recording mostly for training purposes, blah, blah, blah. How do you run that? Or is that gatekeeped?
I'll show you right here what the setup is. We got this puppy
wow.
there. So we're just on the
Sony
door.
Alpha?
Yeah, it's an FX3.
Okay.
So we're just out here sniping people.
Oh, from way far away.
No, like low-key on the doors.
Really? What do they say?
You know, some people mention it. Some people, most people don't. Like, it's definitely harder to sell. So like, yeah, like people see it, but like, if you can like kind of misdirect them a bit and like control where they're looking.
Like, hey, over here.
Yeah, we're just doing all this stuff, like create.
Yeah. That's funny, bro.
But yeah.
Dude, what's next for you, bro? You know, you've ran it up in home services. You've built the personal brand. That's obviously very, very powerful. Like, what's kind of the vision for you over like these next, whatever, 3-ish years, 1 year? You know, what do you want to do? Do you want to keep building the program? Do you want to, like, kind of give everybody a breakdown? You know,
yeah, I'd say
Nick Gaines.
Last year, so like my first year running sales teams, like I was good at sales. I was like I had already done over 5,000 in a single day, but like I wasn't great at teaching. Like I wasn't bad. I just didn't have the skill yet. But by season 2, I realized I became very, very good at teaching sales and like teaching the actual skill. Yeah. And like at the end of the summer when I had one of my guys come up to me and be like, yo, Nick, like, I don't want to be corny, bro, but like you changed my life. Like I literally like
sales guy?
Yeah. Like,
dude,
like,
that's so fire.
And like, cause pretty much all of my guys who were there for more than a month made like at minimum like 8K a month, like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12K a month. And it's like having those guys like genuinely change their lives and then them come up to me and be like, yo, bro, like I was completely broke. Like I'm going to be in, you know, this amount of debt from school, but like I'm going to be able to go, like I'm going to go buy a car, you know? And like, that was just really, really fulfilling for me. Like in the short term of like getting to see them making money every day, but also like at the end of it, yo, bro, thank you. And that like, I think that did something for me of like, I really, really enjoyed that at this point. Like I love business, but like I think I'm most passionate about teaching people. And so now like having the opportunity of being able to teach people across the globe, like I've got guys in Australia, I've got guys in Canada, and it's like, you know, guys in high school, like one of the guys just quit his full-time job. It's like nothing fulfills me more than that. And so I think for the short term, it's like I'm still running my businesses, but I think I want to definitely pour into that.
Balance that, bro. Like, do you do like some days you're all on, you know, like do you break it down in days or, you know, how do you do that?
Just what's needed. I'd say like there's going to be times where there's a lot needed. And I don't really get a chance to stop. There's going to be times where I do have a little bit of a, you know, chiller day. And so it's like, I think just doing what needs to be done, like from a business perspective and also a life perspective. Like if I'm kind of like, not burnt out, I don't like that term, but like if I'm kind of like a little exhausted and I need to catch up on rest, like I'll do that. But just doing what needs to be done, I guess. And I'd say right now, though, the program is definitely the focus for the next at least few years, I think, you know, is there a good chance I definitely want to continue building the window cleaning businesses as far as I can, even like my location, very likely. But I think I'm the most, at this point, passionate about teaching it, just because it's like my next, you know, whatever month in window cleaning, it's like it's not going to change my life. Like obviously I want to continue making as much money as possible, but like I just get a lot of fulfillment out of the teaching, and I think I enjoy that the most right now. And I don't want to like miss out on that just for like money or like, you know, working harder.
Yeah. Dude, I think it's almost like altruistic, or like doing coaching, you know? Like you could run up a bag doing windows, but it's like you're running up a bag. Yeah, your guys are running up a bag. But dude, you show other people how to do it. It's like, I don't know, you really are taking your time. Yeah, I don't know. So, bro, congrats on that. Dude, anything else, bro? Where can people find you?
On Instagram, for
The best way to reach out, yeah. If people want to know what squeegee to get.
Yeah, people want to know what squeegee to get. DM me right now. No, I'm just kidding. But Nick Gaines 1 on Instagram. Also doing a lot of starting to do a lot more on YouTube. So I think a lot of cool stuff's going to be there too. Nick P Gaines on YouTube. But yeah.
Okay. Any last words, bro? I'll give you the stage. Any last piece of advice for all the young guys out here?
I guess, Lewis, do you feel like your demographic, like where are they at right now? Do they want to start a business? Do they have one? Like, what would you say?
I mean, for now, like the people listening to this are going to be my followers, right? Until we grow this like bigger and bigger. So it's like a lot of, I know how I kind of see, I haven't really studied it, but a lot of like 16 to 20-year-old guys, some of them have businesses, they're just getting started. They all kind of like have that want for more, you probably have that too, you just don't want that normal life. So I think that's like kind of the demo, but yeah,
I would just say it's like
some of them are probably thinking, do I go to college? Do I, what do I do? I'm just coming out of high school. What's next?
I think the biggest thing that as I've achieved higher levels of success and like surrounded myself by more successful people, like even a lot of my friends are like, I have pretty successful friends in other industries too. And it's like the biggest common denominator, and just like, not common denominator, but just thing I've realized is that like before you've like made it or before you've achieved any level of success for yourself, it's really easy to put people on a pedestal and be like, oh, he's just special, or like, oh, like, oh, Nick Gaines, or oh, like Oliver Lesser, or like Lewis, or like whatever, just because people have some sort of, some level of success or some level of like following. But it's like people aren't better than you. They've just done things you haven't done, and they've probably done them for a lot longer. And so like the biggest thing I'd say is when I first started, I was not good at sales, and I have people tell me all the time, oh, Nick, you're such a natural. You're so like good at talking to people. That is not true at all. I have 0% like natural talent. It's all just like, it's literally all just knowing what to do, having high level help, knowing what to do, and then just working really, really hard at it for a long time. And everything that I've achieved is something that anyone else can, like 1 million.
That really is the secret sauce, bro. Just doing one thing for a long time.
Yeah.
One industry.
Yeah, it really, really is. It's like, it's like you could know what to do. Like you could have high level mentorship, but if you do it for 3 months, it's like, well, you're not going to see, the massive outsized return at the end of it. But if you work for, 2 years, but you don't really have any help and you're just like figuring it out all yourself, that's going to kind of suck too. And so, but if you do both, you have people that are where you want to be around you, and you are working really, really hard for consistently for a long time in the same industry, like you will achieve success. Like it really is that simple. Because like in 2025, like you could pick any industry in the world, and within like 20 minutes, like find a mentor who will teach you, like in any industry. And so like, if you're just willing to pick one, like I think home service, like the home service industry as a whole, specifically door to door, just because that's what's changed my life, is one of the biggest right now. Because like every other online business model, it's like you're competing with everyone. You're competing with the whole global marketplace. With home services, it's like you might be one of 3, 4, 5, 10 businesses in your area, and how many of them are doing stuff like door to door. And so if you're willing to do the things that other people aren't, you will get the results that you want to get. You just have to stay consistent for long enough.
Fire, bro. Well, dude, we'll end it on that. Guys, if you guys are listening, go check out Nick on Instagram. Go watch his YouTube videos. And yeah, appreciate you guys tuning in. Peace.
See you.